Hey guys, this is Travis coming to you. Right now, I'm in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and I wanted to create a vlog, just basically chronicalizing my time here from the time I got on the plane, and then every day afterwards. I wasn't able to do that at first, but I'm going to do it now. So I've been here for about 3 days now. So I'm just gonna go through the time that I was on, getting on the plane up until now. All right, basically, this is my first international flight. So I was kind of scared. At first, I was excited, scared, nervous, all those different things. I've flown domestically, throughout the United States, but I've never flown internationally. Um, so first, I was dropped off at the airport, and I go to put my bags, to get my tickets and to get my bags checked in. For international flights going to Africa, you can check in 2 bags. So check my 2 bags in, and they ask for the passport right away to see it. So I packed my passport in my book bag, so I was scrambling to get it. And I get my passport out, and they check it, and I check my bags in with TSA. And then I go through security, just the regular stuff. Everything's fine. I'm waiting for my plane, texting everyone, pretty much my last text before I get on the plane. And, everyone's sending me, messages saying they hope I have fun and that I'm safe. And right when they're calling the plane, for us to board the plane, I see this officer, and then I'm second in line, so he's asking a guy all these questions. They ask you, what is your, are you a U.S. citizen? What is your purpose going to whatever destination? Are you taking any gifts or things with you to the other plane? How much money you have? Basically, you're going through customs. Well, I was kind of intimidated by that because usually we just get on the plane. So I was kind of scared, and I answered the guy's questions. And then, I give him my passport. They ask me where you're born, to make sure that it matches up with the passport, what the passport says. And after he gives me my passport and I give my ticket, they take my bag, because they ask you, are you taking anything into the country that I guess would be illegal or whatever. And so I'm just looking like, what in the world? And so they go through my book bag, and then after that, I get on the plane. We're flying to Toronto first. That was nothing. I looked at that as flying to Philadelphia. It was nothing. So I go to Toronto. We go through. It's when you get off the plane, you have to walk through the airport, and it's very long. It's like you walk down this very long corridor. Then you walk up like 2 flights of stairs, and you keep walking again. And then finally, to go to the international flight, you have to go through customs again, except this time you have to fill out a form. So we fill out a form. It basically is asking you pretty much the same type of questions, like, are you bringing any money into the country, for what duration of time you're going to be there, et cetera, et cetera. And so we fill out that form, show the passport, then we finally go through. So I'm waiting again, and I'm using my phone to get on the internet, but I made the mistake of not charging it as much, and so pretty much my phone has like 8% left of the battery in it. And by the time I was able to charge it, we're getting back on the plane, and this time we're going to Frankfurt, Germany. And I've never flown on a plane that was traveling for 7-8 hours, and this one was. So I had heard that they had movies you could watch and stuff, but I wanted to use my phone to get on the internet, but I knew I couldn't because I hadn't charged it. So that's a lesson. If you ever want to fly international, if you have an iPad or a smartphone, make sure it's fully charged before you leave. Even especially with phones, people like to talk to their family and stuff, but before you get on that plane when you're in the United States, make sure it's charged, because if you want to get on the internet, unless you have like another device, you're not going to be able to, because by the time you get off the plane, your phone's going to be dead. So anyway, we get on the plane, and it's very comfortable. It's huge. They have 2 rows that people are walking in. It's huge. The seats are very comfortable. They have, the big pillows. You give you a pillow and a blanket. And so we're flying, and we get served 2 meals. They serve dinner and breakfast. That was how long we were on the plane. We were on the plane for about 8 hours. And so, everything's going well. I'm loving it. I actually like international flights better than domestic flights, because domestic flights, they just give you, a drink and maybe some peanuts or a little snack, if that. So, they give you a whole meal. I love to eat. So I was really enjoying that. The only thing was I wasn't really able to sleep that well on the plane. I probably only got about 2 hours of sleep. But other than that, I had no complaints. I mean, even the bathrooms are a lot better on the international flights than domestic flights. They had at least in the section of the plane I was in, they had 4 bathrooms, and you had to go downstairs to get to the bathrooms, and they're a little bit bigger. And they had outlets in the bathroom. So when I saw that, I used that to charge up my phone, for the time that I was in the bathroom. But yeah, I like international flights a whole lot better. So anyway, by the time we get to Frankfurt, when I get off the plane, I'm exhausted. I didn't have to go through customs, but we did have to go through security again. And the security was kind of rude. They were real straightforward, but I knew since I was in another country, I don't really challenge them anyway, but I wasn't going to act crazy. So, I go through, and we're waiting, and I'm wanting to charge my stuff, but I'm noticing that the charges are European. I asked this kid, I said, there any, where can I charge my phone? He showed me the charging station, but he was like, this is for European charges. You have American. And so, me just being who I am, when it's finally time for us to board, and before you board, like in Germany, in that airport, to get into they have a section outside of your gate where you can sit, but the actual section where your gate is, you have to show your ticket before you can even get in that section to sit. In America, you see the gate, the gate number, and you just go to that, and it's open, but it's like enclosed. So it was enclosed, and when I'm giving my ticket, I just asked the lady, I said, are there any places in the airport for me to charge my phone, because, my prongs are American and y'all's European. And she gives a smart response, but I wasn't upset because I knew what she was saying, and I know it was probably a stupid American question. She basically was like, well, this is a European airport. You're in Europe. And she was like, if we have American charging, then we'd have to have a global, all world charging. So if you want to charge your phone, you need to get an adapter. And so I just smiled. I was like, okay. And I didn't charge it because we were about to board, probably about 10 minutes. So I didn't even buy it. I just said, I would just wait. So anyways, we get on this shuttle, which takes about 5 minutes to get to where the plane was, on the shuttle. And then we board the plane, and it took about 5 hours to get to Khartoum, which I think is in Sudan. So anyway, the plane ride was pretty much the same as the other one. It was pretty good. They serve a lot of drinks on international flights. They serve a drink before you eat. They serve a drink during your meal. They serve another drink afterwards. They'll bring you like water and another drink. Another juice or soft drink. And if you drink, alcohol, they have wine, and I think some of them have beer. And it's all included. So, that was great. And, when we were flying into Khartoum, I was looking down, and I was like, wow, this place, it was getting real, because I'm seeing, parts of Africa. and just looking from the sky, I guess in the Sudan, obviously it's a very desert-like country, and so just outside of the major roads, it was just nothing but dirt roads, and the housing structures where you could tell they were dirt-based, like sand and dirt-based, with the exception of like maybe the really nice buildings. And so anyway, we're flying in there. We had to wait an hour, and the people that pull out the bags, there was one guy. He was an older black guy, and he was entertaining us. I guess he was all dancing and jumping up and down and doing stuff. So you see people laughing. And one thing I noticed on the plane, beforehand, I wasn't really sure about the type of dress that people would be wearing, but once I got on the plane, I saw everyone dressed like how we dress in America, pretty much. You didn't see that many people with shorts on, but men as well as the women, they pretty much dress like how you dress in America. So anyway, it takes about an hour to refuel, because we stopped in Khartoum to drop people off and to refuel, and it's about an hour away by plane to Addis Ababa. And so we fly into Addis Ababa, and we get there a little earlier, probably about 45 minutes earlier, and I go through, I had to get my visa at the airport. So I went to get my visa at the airport. It didn't take that long. They're supposed to check for your yellow card and all. They didn't even check. All they basically did was just look at my visa. Look at my passport. They looked at, like, you had to fill out this card pretty much that would ask the same questions that the U.S. Customs officer asked me. They want to know where you're going to be staying, the duration, when your passport was issued or whatever. And so you give those to the officials, and they just look at the information, they copy it, and then you just pay $20, and then they stamp your passport with the visa. So once you do that, I went to get my bags. I had to give my passport and other stuff to the customs official after going to get my visa stamped, and she just looked over everything, and she let me go through, and then I got my bags. And when you get your bags, but then you have to, they take it through a scanning device, so I guess to make sure you're not bringing anything illegal into it. So there's a lot of checking. So they take it through a scanning device to make sure. And then when I was heading out, like, this guy grabbed my bags that I had in the cart, and he was real helpful, and I pretty much was realizing that he probably wanted a tip, and I was going to give him a tip, but I didn't have change, and I asked him, and he was responding in English. He was like, he didn't have any change, and I was like, well, if you don't have any change, then I can't give you a tip. And I wasn't trying to be mean, but I was just being real. I'm not going to give you $20 for getting my bags. I didn't even ask you to. I was going to give him 10 US dollars. And so he acted like everything was cool. He was like, oh, no problem, you're my friend, whatever. He let me call my ride. So my ride came about 10 minutes later, and the man waited. He waited, and, he didn't really say much. And when my ride came, he walked us to the truck or whatever, to the van, and we unloaded. And so the guy that was with, he went to give him a tip, but the man was mad. I didn't realize he wasn't mad at me, but he was mad at them. And so he walked away. And so one of the other guys, that spoke Amharic, he started, asking the man, like, why are you so angry? We're trying to give you this money. And the man, he basically was just saying, I've been waiting with him all this time. I let him use my phone. And I guess he didn't like the amount of money that they gave him. And so eventually they gave him like 5 times more than what they were going to give him. And, the man was so angry that he wasn't even listening to what the guy that was with him was trying to tell him. And so he gave him 5 times more. And once we finally explained the situation, the man said he was sorry, give my mercy to, the pastor or whatever. And so then, we got in the van and they took me to my hotel and we ate dinner. And, I had, I think I just had fish or something, but it was good. It was good fish with, I think this coffee that they drink, macchiato, I think that's what it's called. And, it was good. It was real good. And, everyone was nice and hospitable. The hotel staff is nice. And, then they just showed me to my room, and, I can show y'all that right now. It's not the Hilton, but it's nice, and I guess this is one of the better hotels in Addis Ababa, and so that's pretty much was my first day. I was tired by then, but I got in about 8:30. I got in my bed probably about 11 o'clock. Just sent an email to my folks and my friends, just let them know I was here safe. So that was my first day.